you, and you know this because you're witnessing this happening at your home, at your offices in Washington and in Maine, women saying that you betrayed women all across the country. Planned Parenthood gave you an award last November for your work on protecting reproductive rights. Here's what their political arm had to say about your vote. This isn't just another vote. Senator Collins has made it clear that she can no longer call herself a women's rights champion. She has sided with those who disbelieve, disrespected, and even mock survivors. We deserve better. Women won't forget.
Well, first of all, I have never disregarded, disrespected, or mocked survivors. That is just plain untrue. And I would note that Planned Parenthood opposed 3 pro-choice justices just because they were nominated by Republican presidents: David Souter, Sandra Day O'Connor, and Justice Kennedy. They said the same thing: women will die. And this is just outrageous. I have worked to preserve funding for Planned Parenthood over and over again, and I'm going to continue to do so.
And I understand that you're upset. I can see that about Planned Parenthood. But just generally to women who are saying this, who have no connection to Planned Parenthood, that feel that you betrayed them, what do you say to them?
I have met with so many groups of survivors. I've talked to friends that, with one exception, who confided in me years ago, I had no idea that they had been sexually assaulted. So I have learned how pervasive this terrible problem is in our society. And clearly we need to step up and do something about it. And every survivor deserves to be heard and respected. This is a case where there is an incident that happened allegedly 36 years ago where there is no corroborating evidence. And it is not fair to Brett Kavanaugh for this to be disqualifying in the absence of evidence. But that does not mean that I don't believe that Dr. Ford was not a victim of sexual assault. I think she is a survivor.
Beyond the allegations, of course, are the questions about Roe versus Wade. While you were giving your speech on the Senate floor, your friend, the top Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee, Dianne Feinstein, tweeted the following: "When I asked Judge Kavanaugh about whether Roe and Casey were settled law and whether they were correctly decided, he refused to answer. He would only say these cases are entitled to respect." How can you be, or are you 100% certain, without a doubt, that Brett Kavanaugh will not overturn Roe v. Wade?
I do not believe that Brett Kavanaugh will overturn Roe v. Wade.
Precedents are overturned all the time.
They aren't overturned all the time. And listen to the standards that he put forth in his conversation with me and also in the hearing. He says for a precedent, a long-established precedent like Roe to be overturned, it would have to have been grievously wrong and deeply inconsistent. He noted that Roe had been reaffirmed 19 years later by Planned Parenthood versus Casey, and that it was precedent on precedent. He said it should be extremely rare that it be overturned, and it should be an example.
So you have obviously full confidence.
I do.
One last question. The political backlash, I don't have to tell you, has been fierce. You saw a tweet from Susan Rice saying that maybe she would run, the Speaker of the House in Maine. A crowdfunding website has raised $2.6 million for whomever your opponent will be in 2020. Could you lose this seat over your vote?
You know, I have to do what I think is right. And over the years, the people of Maine have trusted me to exercise my best judgment. That's what I did in this case.
And you're prepared to lose your vote if...
Whatever the voters decide, but I'm going to do what I think is right. That's what I owe my constituents. As far as Susan Rice is concerned, her family has a home in Maine, but she doesn't live in the state of Maine. Everybody knows that. But the irony is, back in 2009, when she was nominated to be ambassador of the UN, she came to me, even though I did not know her back then at all, and pleaded with me to introduce her before the committee, which I was happy to do because her family had links to the state of Maine.